Just when we thought we were in for a drought, Gilbert Burns and Belal Muhammad are stepping up to the plate. They're going to be the new co-main event, and we have some other news. For June, Marvin Vettori and Cannonier are booked for a main event. And the craziest thing, Strickland is going to fight Abus Magomedov, bro. What the heck is going on with that fight? I don't think it's a good fight at all. I don't understand why the UFC is doing it. They're trying to rush this guy, Abus Magomedov. I know Strickland's dying to get a fight, and maybe that's it. Maybe the UFC is like, listen, no one wants to fight this guy. It doesn't make sense, but just go out and take it. That fight literally pisses me off, but let's just get to the good stuff first. Gilbert Burns and Belal Muhammad, bro. Incredible matchup. I'm actually more excited for Gilbert Burns and Belal than I would have been for Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush, namely because I'm a Charles fan and I'm picking Beneil Dariush to beat him. And I know that they rescheduled that for the UFC Canada card, but I'm glad that I don't have to see Charles Oliveira get KO'd by Beneil Dariush. It's a close fight. Some of you guys are going to rag on me for that, but let's be fucking real. Gilbert Burns is the fan favorite, and Gilbert Burns is probably going to beat Belal Muhammad. So I'm going to be a whole lot happier with the outcome of that event. And you know what? Even if Belal Muhammad gets it done, I actually don't mind Belal at all. And he's worked his ass off for a title shot. This is the true title elimination bout. Everyone's talking about Colby, maybe Hamzat dropping down a weight. No. This is the title elimination bout. Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns stepped up big time, and they're giving the UFC no choice but to accept them as the next in line for the title for whatever Leon is doing after Colby. Or if Colby Covington just ducks Leon again and just doesn't want to fight, then this is going to be the next matchup. Who do I think is going to win? I understand that there's a big question as to, is Gilbert Burns going to be in shape? Because he just fought a month ago. Guys get fat after their fight. They let themselves go a little bit. They go on a vacation. They take a couple weeks off to heal up their nagging injuries. So let's just say Gilbert Burns has only taken 1 week off. I doubt he was right back in the gym. I doubt that he was right back on his diet. The guy probably gained a lot of weight, was sitting around. If anything, he's going to be training hard for 3 weeks max versus Belal Muhammad, who's been doing Ramadan, who's disciplined during that time period. Now, the thing is, Belal Muhammad seems like a pretty big guy for the weight class. He cuts a lot of weight. He's gotten bigger over the years. So maybe he wasn't expecting this, but given that he's doing Ramadan, most people are already leaning out during that process. I would bank on Belal Muhammad being the guy that is a little bit fresher, less injury prone at this point in time. That being said, this is going to be a fight that is contested on the feet. I know for a fact that Belal Muhammad is probably not going to get taken down. He has really good takedown defense. And Gilbert Burns, I've said it a million fucking times and I'll say it again, he is not going to submit Belal Muhammad. It's not going to happen. Gilbert Burns is an incredible jiu-jitsu guy. He has good grappling, but he is not the submission threat that some people swear that he is. People keep picking him by submission. Stop. All right? And I considered it last time because he got on the mic after his weigh-in show when he was being interviewed by Laura Sanko in DC right before his last fight against Jorge Masvidal. He said that the comments from people like me talking about his Wonder Boy performance, where he looked like he was holding on for dear life and couldn't do any offensive work on the ground, got to him, and he made a point to train his offensive ground and pound, his submission skills. But it just didn't play out against Jorge Masvidal. It didn't really play out against Wonder Boy. Of course, Jorge Masvidal is hard to submit, but Belal Muhammad's a phenomenal grappler. The man is not getting submitted, and he is a great wrestler. He has good scrambles. So I don't see grappling playing into the equation. Of course, I don't think Belal Muhammad's going to want to shoot on Gilbert Burns. He just won't have any success there. Gilbert Burns will get right back up to his feet. I can say that he isn't the best offensive grappler when it comes to his ability to do damage or find finishes, but defensively, he is 100 out of 100. He's a unit down there. So it's going to be a fight on the feet. Gilbert Burns is the better striker. And I just watched MMA Joey's video. I love his channel, and he has some picks that just throw me off sometimes, but he gets a lot of them right. He's picking Belal Muhammad, bro, because Belal Muhammad's the more technical striker. Now, I do have to say, Belal Muhammad is an underrated striker, and he proved that against Vicente Luque. His body kicks are lightning fast. The guy has pretty quick hands. He can throw with high volume, and he's coming off of a TKO win over Sean fucking Brady, though. Let's be real. Sean Brady is ass. All right, the guy's cheeks, he's always been that way. He was overhyped to oblivion throughout the majority of his UFC career. Of course, Belal Muhammad's going to beat him, but I think his power is a little bit better than most people give him credit for. Gilbert Burns is going to knock this man out. I know it took me a while to get to that. We're going to see Gilbert Burns knock this motherfucker out. Burns is going to be way faster, more explosive, and if you look at his resume, he's arguably better than Belal Muhammad, bro. The guy arguably beat Khamzat Chimaev. Doesn't matter if he got dropped. He, gave Usman a tough first round. I know that's the only real loss on his record, but that says something, man. He's gone through everybody except for prime Kamaru Usman, who's the second best welterweight of all time. And I just don't think that Belal Muhammad is going to get a win over this guy, especially when he continues to get better. Gilbert Burns is looking better. I know his level of competition has been dropping since the Khamzat Chimaev fight and taking on Neil Magny, taking on Jorge Masvidal, but it's just the eye test. He's faster than he's ever been. He was lighting up Jorge Masvidal on the feet, destroying him with the boxing. And Jorge's got a good chin. Despite getting knocked out a few years ago, he still has a good chin. Belal Muhammad's been finished multiple times throughout his career, and I think he's going to get KO'd by Gilbert Burns, and I'm going to go with a second round KO. I think both of these guys are going to be landing good strikes on the feet. Gilbert Burns is faster. He's more explosive. He's more powerful. He's very defensively sound these days. He's improved a lot since the Kamaru Usman fight. Belal Muhammad doesn't have the reach advantage. Belal Muhammad isn't a very crafty striker. He's got decent techniques, but he's not really out there setting anything up. And I think Gilbert Burns is a step above him technically. And he has way more power. And he does not have to fear anything on the ground. People act like, oh, well, Gilbert Burns just had a fight and he's been taking time off and maybe he has injuries. Belal Muhammad's going to be fresh. Like, the guys have their skills. It's not like they just lose all their skills right after their fight and it takes them 4 months to get them back. Like, we're going to see Gilbert Burns being himself, the regular Gilbert Burns that always shows up. That's the guy. Can he go 3, 4, 5 rounds? That's the question. I don't know. But I don't think it'll get there in the first place. So I expect a very dangerous, fast, and crispy Gilbert Burns to show up. And I think he's going to smoke Belal Muhammad in the second round. I think he's going to knock him out. He's going to make a statement. That's my pick. Who are you guys picking in this one? I just don't see Belal Muhammad hurting Burns. And I don't see him being able to trade with Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is so much better than Vicente Luque. You know what I mean? He's so much better than shitty old Sean Brady. If that was Gilbert Burns standing there and Sean Brady in the pocket with Belal Muhammad, Belal's getting slept. So that's what's going to happen. Now, Abus Magomedov and Sean Strickland. All right, let's get to this shit. What the fuck is the UFC doing? I understand that Sean Strickland's been begging for a fight, but this makes absolutely no sense. Abus Magomedov has one win over Stoltzfus, whatever the fuck his name is. One good win. I know he blitzed through him, but why are we pushing this guy up to the rankings so fast? Like, Sean Strickland's coming off of a win over Imavov. The guy's arguably 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot. And Abus Magomedov, this guy that basically has a name based on one finish and the fact that he has an OV at the end of it. So he's got the Russian hype and people are like, whoa, Abus Magomedov, crazy record, shitloads of finishes. Fuck that, dude. Sean Strickland had fuckloads of finishes before getting into the UFC. It's easy to rack up wins over bums when you are a UFC caliber guy. Abus Magomedov, his record leads me to believe that he is just a guy that isn't ready for Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's underrated. I see people saying in the comments, sad for Strickland, sad. Fuck that, dude. Sean Strickland's going to beat his ass. He's going to show him levels. He had a razor close fight with Jared Cannonier. Whenever people step up in competition to fight a guy like Sean Strickland, unless they are a Robert Whittaker, unless they're a Israel Adesanya, an Alex Pereira level striker, they lose. He has phenomenal takedown defense, and we saw it in the Imavov fight. And he's only lost to the best fighters. And we're also talking about Abus Magomedov, a fucking middleweight. These middleweight guys are bums. And Sean Strickland spars all the time. It keeps him ready for fights. He has more experience than anyone in that division. I truly believe that because this guy is always sparring. He's going to be more battle-tested. He's going to be more savvy. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves with his boxing skills, with his combinations, his speed, and his defensive ability. That's what I'm really looking into. I think Abus Magomedov is going to punch himself out, and I think Sean Strickland's going to beat him by decision. He's just going to break him. That's just the level of experience that I'm relying on for Sean Strickland. Again, has all these wins, Abus Magomedov in the amateur scene or whatever, that don't mean shit. Everyone that's a ranked fighter in the UFC has a shitload of finishes before they got to the UFC. It's just too big of a jump in competition, and the guy doesn't have a name yet. Like, don't we have to build these names? It's not really enough to get this guy to beat Sean Strickland, and then all of a sudden Izzy as a new contender. Like, he doesn't have a name. Let's get him some other wins first. I would have rather have seen Sean Strickland versus, I know they just made Brendan Allen versus someone else. Forgetting the name right off the top of my head, but I would have liked another fight. Or fuck it, I would have preferred Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis or Sean Strickland and Adesanya, just because that would be a really fun buildup. And Strickland already has his name. I think it's a little bit rushed and just weird to give fucking Abus Magomedov, bro. I keep mixing his name up with Magomed Ankalaev. Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier. Who do I think is going to win this fight? I'm going to go with Marvin Vettori. And I know that I made a tier list video on the middleweights recently, and I had Jared Cannonier in my B tier with Sean Strickland. Those were the only two B tier guys. And I had Marvin in my C tier. The thing is, though, Cannonier is 39 years old, right? He's coming off of a win over Sean Strickland, which was razor close, could have gone either way. I picked him to win that fight. I thought he was going to KO Sean Strickland, but Strickland still has a good chin, which actually I'm going to mention again. Strickland has a phenomenal chin. He got knocked out by Alex Pereira with a really good left hook from the hardest hitting guy in the division, and he was able to eat big shots from Jared Cannonier. So that's very impressive from Sean Strickland. Another reason to pick him against this guy that's probably going to punch himself out early and be swinging and missing against him. But back to the Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier fight. The reason I'm picking Marvin Vettori is because what makes Jared Cannonier so dangerous is his power. Even a guy like Sean Strickland has to fear the power, has to fight around that. I don't think Marvin Vettori has to really worry about that much. He's coming off of a win over Roman Dolidze, who basically hits as hard as Jared Cannonier, who's a very big puncher as well. Now, he's not as fast as Jared. He's not as skilled as Jared, but he's also higher output in a way. Jared Cannonier is a lower output guy. He has really good leg kicks. But we saw Marvin Vettori improving. He added a lot of leg kicks to his game and to his arsenal. We saw more than ever in his last outing against, fucking Roman Dolidze. So I really think that Marvin Vettori, with his chin, with his toughness and his high output, is going to beat Jared Cannonier by decision. I think there are going to be some big moments for Cannonier where he lands a big shot and Marvin Vettori gets stumbled a little bit. But the guy has the second best chin in the UFC right now. Maybe just the best chin in the UFC. I don't think he's ever been dropped either. So I'm going to pick Marvin Vettori. I don't think it's going to be that fun of a fight. It's going to be, Marvin doesn't have any sting on his punches. He's going to be eating the big shots from Cannonier. Cannonier's output isn't so great. Marvin's going to be landing pitter-pat shots and some leg kicks here and there. It's going to look like a high-paced sparring match. But I'll still watch it. What I do want to say, though, I don't think the winner of this fight should get a title shot. Because I already see some people saying, man, this is a great number one contenders fight. What are you talking about? Both of these guys basically just lost to Adesanya. Robert Whittaker just mogged and destroyed Marvin Vettori in France last fall, less than a year ago. And Adesanya not destroyed, but he snooze-fested his way past Jared Cannonier, and we never, ever want to see that again. And even the Marvin Vettori fight with Adesanya a couple summers ago, put me to sleep. None of us ever want to see Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier fight again. I guess this is just a good fight to get one of them out of the rankings because we don't want to see them anymore in title contention. I kind of want Marvin Vettori to win because, as I said, Cannonier is 39 years old. The guy I don't think he's ever getting a title shot again. And neither of these men are beating Whittaker, so I don't really think this fight does a lot for these guys other than keep them into the top 5. So, yeah, what do you guys think about these fights? I really think Gilbert Burns is going to fuck Belal Muhammad up in the second round. I do, man. He's going to catch him with some big hook. He's going to be landing hard body kicks. Everything that he throws is a kill shot, and I don't think Belal Muhammad's ready for that. He has not fought a guy on the level of Gilbert Burns other than Leon Edwards, and we know that fight ended due to a no contest, due to an eye poke, but I think Gilbert Burns is a harder stylistic matchup for Belal Muhammad. I actually think this is Belal Muhammad's toughest stylistic matchup in the UFC welterweight division right now, aside from Shavkat Rakhmonov. And Abus Magomedov, Sean Strickland, I got to go with Sean Strickland, man. People still underrate him. And I'm not saying Sean Strickland is that great. He's, a decent middleweight. But being a decent middleweight means something because most middleweights are pretty dog shit. And Sean Strickland's boxing is it works. It's not pretty, but it works. And he's skilled. He spars all the time. It's hard to hit the man. It's hard to hit him clean. And then Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier is going to be a snoozer fight. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.